Hey guys, it's Charity. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. If you are new here, I am a mom of 2 boys. I have had open heart surgery twice. I have been cured of hepatitis C as a result of a contaminated blood transfusion, and I have had a whole host of food allergies and sensitivities along with leaky gut. Yeah, just to say the least. To say that my health journey has been a bit of a roller coaster would be an understatement. And if you cannot tell by the title of this post and the cute little boy in the cover of this video, we now have a little one who has some of the same things that I do. Now, I will say that we have been transitioning to a more whole foods, plant-based lifestyle. I have been doing it for almost 2 years now and have seen tons of success in a lot of different areas in my life. But we are now, over the last probably 6 to 8 months, have started transitioning our super picky eaters to a plant-based lifestyle. So taking them from a highly processed standard American diet to a more whole foods, well-rounded diet. And that's not to say that they don't get to have treats and get to enjoy things on occasion, because they do, but this is a transition. And so as I've seen great success in my kids going from literally 5 foods to my oldest now eats well over 25, pushing 30 foods on a regular basis, which is fantastic. He also has ADHD and sensory issues. That's a huge deal. And I believe that with all the things that I've gone through, and I went to IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, to find out more to help myself in my own journey, I'm now sharing that with my kids, and all these things that are starting to pop up for them, I'm able to help on the nutrition side. And so I've actually developed a program specifically to do just that, and I want to share it with you. It's called the Picky Eaters Plate, and that's where I help you take your kiddos, your picky eaters, from this horribly overwhelming dinner time culture of tears, emotion, disappointment, and transition them to eating more real food, those fruits and veggies we know they need to be vibrantly healthy and to have a strong immune system and a healthy gut, and actually create lasting health for your kiddos. So I'm going to put links to that below in the description, so definitely check it out if you're interested. But it's now taking a little bit of another turn, and I always promise to be transparent about our journey and the struggles that we have and the successes that we have, so that way you know you're not alone, but also just to be real with people, because we need a place where we can be real as moms. And so I try to provide that here on this channel and in my platform. So as you could tell by the title of this post and the cute little boy in the cover, I have a son who has now been diagnosed with alpha-gal and a whole host of other allergies all the way across the board. So he is adorable. I'm not going to lie. I am a sucker for blue eyes, and this little kid has blonde hair and blue eyes, and I just love him to death. He is ornery, just like his daddy, but he is so, so sweet. And the biggest thing for us as far as struggling with his transition to healthier foods is that about 1.5 years ago, he was only eating 5 things. And when I mean 5 things, I mean bacon, my beef taco meat, chips, bread, and watermelon. That's pretty much it. Maybe peanut butter. Maybe a grilled cheese sandwich. Okay? So I'm not kidding. This is real life. Okay? So we started this with him, like I said, about 8 months ago, really diving in, trying to be purposeful in how we're doing it. I created this program and this method and seen so much success. So now he's gone from eating literally 5 foods to now he's pushing 15 to 20. So he's not as far along as my oldest, but he is doing much better in that short period of time. So I had noticed, though, that he wasn't eating certain things that I would have considered being normal. And he hasn't since he's, if he's 5 years old now, probably not since he was 3.5 has he eaten things that you would consider normal, like chicken nuggets that a kid would normally eat, mac and cheese, no cereal with milk, no milk at all, cannot stand the taste of milk. He doesn't really eat cheese other than maybe a grilled cheese sandwich or maybe a cheese quesadilla. That's about it. He's not going to eat a cheese stick or anything like that. He's not going to eat yogurt. He does not combine his foods. He's very picky about everything being individual and nothing touching. And so this journey has been one of patience and of trial by error, of course, as moms. He is so different than my oldest, and he has different struggles than my oldest does. And so it really was overwhelming for us as parents. And then I realized that this summer, especially since going through COVID and having this kind of whirlwind year of craziness, this was his first preschool year, and it was COVID year. Bless his heart. So what I realized is that he wasn't eating. Like, he would eat some things for us pretty regularly, right? But he wasn't eating at school, and I couldn't understand why. He wouldn't have any of the milk, which was normal for us as well. He wouldn't eat any of the meat. It was basically he'd eat the roll, and he'd eat maybe some pasta, maybe, or the snack, which was typically like, chips or something, or cookies. So when I realized that we really needed to take this on, I was like, okay, it's worse than I thought. I thought it was just kind of his age. And yeah, he's picky, but it was mainly his age is what I kind of chalked it up to. But then I realized he's not doing it at school either, and this is going to become a big problem. So I paid more attention to him. I tried lots of different things, couldn't figure it out. Started getting him to expand his diet, like I said, from the 5 very limited foods to now over 10, pushing 15. And then this summer, he really started being more open with me when I would ask him, hey, what's wrong? Is there a reason you're not eating? Are you hungry? Those kinds of things. And he started to finally confess that his stomach didn't feel so good when he would eat certain things. But he couldn't tell me what it was that he ate that he couldn't handle. Now, it wasn't that he was throwing up, and that's a very important thing to note here. When you're talking about some food allergies, some kids will get very sick and will literally have a nauseous reaction. If you get into something like celiac, where they have a life or death reaction to wheat or gluten specifically, then obviously you're going to have the throat closing and the lips swelling and the hives. He doesn't have any of that. However, as my husband and I were talking, he has had moments where he has thrown up at random times, where it was kind of like, okay, is there a bug going around? And he would get sick maybe once, twice. There was one time that we could remember where he was sick for four times in about a 24-hour period. But then he was fine after that. He never had a fever, nothing else. So I always chalked it up to being just a little bug. He just got some kind of stomach bug. But now I think it may have something to do with some of these other things going on. Like I said, it's not severe by any means, but he does have some discomfort, and his stomach hurts. And so therefore he doesn't eat certain things, and he doesn't eat a lot. That being said, we finally decided to go and talk to his pediatrician about it. He does have an EpiPen for stingers. He's deathly allergic to the red wasp, yellow jacket, and hornet. So we already have an EpiPen, and we're very aware of that kind of circumstance. And because of that, I think she was thinking, okay, his immune system's clearly something's going on. He's also had 13 rounds of antibiotics in his short life due to ear infections. And he's had 2 rounds of tubes, and his adenoid's already removed, and it's just this big, huge thing. And that really, there's a lot of science to back this up as well, that antibiotics destroy your gut bacteria. And 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. So if you've had a ton of antibiotics, your gut flora and the microbiome are going to be completely altered, and quite frankly, probably never fully recover at that extreme amount. And so he's very susceptible. He's sick all the time. He gets, like pollen kind of allergies type response, those kinds of things. And so I really wanted to know. I thought, okay, I've been through my own journey. It's time to do his. And so we were able to get a dietary allergy test done, along with all the way across the board, including alpha-gal. Now, alpha-gal is a sugar molecule that is passed from the Lone Star tick. We live on 280 acres, along with a ton of property open behind us. So we're completely surrounded by nature, which is a beautiful, wonderful gift and a blessing. However, ticks come along with that, and my sweet little baby Blue, for some reason, the rest of us might get 1 tick. He gets like 5. And I don't know why I always just thought, well, he must just be the right kind of flavor, I guess, or I don't know what it was, but he would have so many more ticks than the rest of us would. That being said, alpha gal is the sugar molecule that is passed from the Lone Star tick to humans. If your body is susceptible to it, your immune system could trigger an allergic response. And so we wanted to test for that too, because I had mentioned that he doesn't eat any meat. He really, like I said, maybe my taco meat and bacon, and that's it. He doesn't like chicken, he wouldn't eat anything. So we decided to do that, and the results came back. We got a big old long list. So, and I have it here just simply because it's a lot and I just can't remember every single little bit of it. I'm not really going to touch on all of the natural things that he's allergic to, like thistle, and pigweed, which are running rampant around us, and elm tree and things like that, and the fungi and the dirt that he's allergic to. That's pretty easily combated by just giving him, a kid's Claritin or Zyrtec every day during, the prime season. He probably could benefit from having that. However, he did have some food sensitivities or allergic reactions to foods, and then he was positive for alpha gal. So I wasn't too terribly concerned about the alpha gal, simply because he doesn't eat meat. He doesn't like it. And I thought, okay, well, that just gives me the validation as to why he doesn't like it. But there's more to it than that. And then he's also allergic to gluten and wheat, which I had kind of suspected. I'm also allergic to gluten and wheat, not celiac disease, but I do have a immediate bloating from that. And he's also allergic to corn and soybean. This becomes a problem because corn and soybean are in everything. And if you've seen and followed me and read some of my posts on my blog, I'm very passionate about the ingredients in our food supply. And one of the big things is that corn and soybeans are in everything. They're subsidized by the government, and so farmers grow a crap ton of them. In fact, we just got back from Gulf Shores, Alabama on a vacation, and all the way through Mississippi and into Arkansas, I kid you not, we drove through nothing but soybean and cornfields. And so it's a very common thing, not to mention the oils that things are cooked in. This is a big deal as far as it could cause discomfort, and potentially as he gets older could cause a more aggressive, severe allergic reaction. And that's one thing to note here, is that you can have minor reactions like I do with, gluten. I have pretty immediate bloating, and that maybe some discomfort. That's about it. However, I'm also allergic to white potato. Me personally, I have an immediate response in my mouth. My mouth will break out in sores, and my tongue, I'll have spots all the way down my tongue. It's not life-threatening because it doesn't, close my throat, and it's not like that, and it goes away within about 20 to 30 minutes, but it is an immediate allergic reaction. So that's something to think about when I'm looking at this list. So what is alpha gal? I think that's probably the big thing that everybody's kind of curious about. You get the gluten and you get the wheat, you get the corn and the soybean. Absolutely. It's in everything. It's everywhere. We just have to be more conscious of cross-contamination at restaurants is going to be a big deal, and also in the ingredients that we cook. As you guys know, I'm very big on reading the ingredients that you're putting in your body. Okay, I can take a breath with that. It's just going to take an adjustment to be more conscious about the soybean and the corn specifically. However, what is alpha gal? A lot of people don't know, and it is actually a mammalian meat allergy. And what that means is that, and I'm going to get my little list here because it's more than I thought, and it's got things in it that I never would have thought. So it's where the sugar, like I said, the sugar molecule is passed from the Lone Star tick, and your body can have a reaction to it. And what it does is it makes you allergic to these kinds of meats. Things like red meat specifically is kind of the big kicker. So beef, ox, bull, lamb, veal, goat, venison, buffalo, pork, bacon, ham, sausages, deli cold cuts, organ meat, rabbit, marsupials like kangaroo and wallaby, other things like possum or whale or dolphin. I know, but they're on the list. And then another big thing is gelatin, because gelatin is a beef byproduct. So, like I said, he doesn't eat a lot of meat. That being said, they can tolerate the white meats. So there are some white meats that they tend to not have an allergic reaction to, which would be like chicken, turkey, duck, quail. They can typically have shrimp and shellfish. So those things are still technically probably okay for him to have, but he doesn't like them anyway. And like I said, we're trying to move away from more meat products to, again, more plant-based. I want my kids to be as plant-based as possible. Like I said, we're not fully vegan ourselves. We're more like the blue zones where we'll eat some meat on occasion. Most of the time it's our own personal meat that we've grown, whether it's the beef in our family farm or it is the chickens that we raise, whatever that kind of situation. That's about it. However, we are mostly plant-based. That being said, chicken, turkey, duck, those kinds of things, he doesn't like them. So I don't have to worry really about him wanting to eat them because he doesn't really care to eat them. However, I don't have to worry about those types of ingredients being in the food that we might be eating. Some of the other kind of crazy things that you might not think about as far as that might have specifically beef byproducts is really the big thing. And that's really where I think some people or moms specifically who get diagnosed with alpha-gal or have kids diagnosed with alpha-gal, is all the hidden stuff and the cross-contamination. So there's a lot of beef byproducts, and I didn't really and I still probably don't grasp how many there are, but there's a lot. So the gelatin is one of the main ones, and it's in a lot of things, like I said, like marshmallows. You can also find things like mousse and jams and jellies. You've also got like the bouillon cubes, all those kinds of like soup powders have beef byproduct in it. You've got regular soups and stocks, anything really that's labeled flavor in the ingredients list, it's got a probable high possibility that it could have a mammalian animal byproduct in it. And so that's something to definitely be aware of. And I'm not a big fan of eating anything that says natural flavors or flavoring, and that's all it says. Like, it could be anything. It's so vague that it could literally be anything and you have no idea what it is. So that's something. And then obviously things like gravy obviously are going to have those kinds of things. But even energy drinks and certain flavored drinks can have it, which is just, again, seems somewhat crazy to me as well. But the other thing that really kind of surprised me is, and once the doctor said this, it kind of made sense. The gel cap on your medicine is made from an animal byproduct, most likely gelatin. So when I think about the medicine that I give him that's over the counter, even like things like Benadryl, like I'm going to have to look at the ingredients and look at specific brands and think about that as well. You've also got stuff like lotions and shampoos, Band-Aids, different kinds of cosmetic products, all have mammalian animal byproducts in them. So that's something to think about. Now, one thing that when I mentioned, I said, okay, but he wasn't on her list. He didn't test positive for milk as an allergy. However, he doesn't like milk. He says he doesn't want it. It doesn't feel good to him. So I was really surprised by that. However, there is a high probability that people who have alpha-gal will have a dairy sensitivity or not be able to really tolerate dairy. And I asked her about that. And so she said that it's a really high chance, since he doesn't like dairy and he says it's not very good and his tummy doesn't really feel good after he eats it. She said, I would just continue to cut out the dairy because it's also linked to alpha-gal for some people. And in this case, I think it is. So that's really the big gist of it. So I think the biggest thing to take away in this case is that I don't want to take things away from my oldest or from the rest of us just simply because my youngest can't have it. However, you have to find a balance here with why can he have it but I can't? And that's going to be really difficult. He's 5 years old. Okay, so this is going to be challenging in that regard because he's going to want to eat the same things his older brother is eating. And it just, you see what I'm saying? Like, it can be really hard for them to kind of grasp. So, what our game plan is, mine specifically, since I'm the stay at home mom, is he's going to basically become a gluten-free, wheat-free, soy-free, coin-free vegan. That's basically what he's going to become because he doesn't really like meat anyway. The bum thing for him when we were sitting down talking to him about it is that he loves bacon. And I mean, again, who doesn't love bacon, right? We all love bacon. It's horrible for us, but we love it. Yeah, he was really heartbroken when I told him. I said, well, honey, bacon's probably, it's not going to be able to be something that we can eat anymore. And he, just the look on his face, he was like devastated. I felt awful. But the thing is that we have to have grace for our kids. Like, he does not have the same motivation that I do. He's 5. He's not going to see things in the future the way that I do, or the benefit of doing this the way that I can, because he's 5, right? So just like in my program and what I teach moms with their picky eaters is that this is definitely going to be a process for him. And because he doesn't have like major EpiPen needing allergic reactions to the food he's eating, I think we'll be able to make this transition smoother because it's not like we have to go cold turkey right now. We are doing the mammalian meat is the big thing that we're doing first. Gluten and soy, or gluten and wheat, excuse me, that's probably going to be the next thing. And that's not too terribly hard because I already have that allergy. So just not having some of the other things just to make sure. I've already been transitioning him and his brother from, say, regular white pasta to lentil pasta and even bean pasta. Today, in fact, I actually tried a fava bean pasta from Costco that I got in bulk, and he liked it. So the beautiful thing about this is that those are pure protein options, because I know what you guys are going to say, and the thing that I get all the time from people who are interested in trying to help their kids and themselves, because we know that if our kids are eating better, we as moms are going to eat better, and it's hard for us to be healthy when our kids aren't, and they're fighting us at every tooth and nail at the dinner table. So the biggest thing to remember is that there are so many plant-based options for protein. In fact, every plant has some protein in it. And beans, legumes, chickpeas, things like that. You've got quinoa is a complete protein. It's got all the essential amino acids. Hemp seeds have all the essential amino acids. It's a complete protein. There's tons of things like that. Even nutritional yeast that we use to give a cheesy flavor to things when we're no longer using dairy has protein in it. And it even has B12. And so the biggest thing to know is that when you're transitioning your kiddos and you feel like in this case, he can't have animal meat, right? Like his body is not going to take it. He's going to have discomfort, potential loose stools, potential constipation, and then he can't have the dairy. His body does not like the dairy. Where are you going to get your protein? You get it from plant sources, just like I was talking about. And so it's really actually not as scary as I thought it was going to be when I started diving into the ingredient situation. Because the whole point, and what I believe wholeheartedly since my time at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition when I got certified as a health coach, and in my own personal journey, is that I want to eat food as close to the raw form from the earth, that the way that God created it as possible. That's what I want. And it's hard to do that in the modern world, especially when you start talking about school lunches and snacks. When you start talking about the bombardment of food advertising and the easy, quick things literally everywhere we go, right? So the biggest thing is to educate your kids. Don't make them feel like you're taking everything away from them. I know the bacon. It's going to be the hardest thing for him, the hardest thing. But if you help him in understanding, I'm going to try turkey bacon, and because turkey is something he's technically not allergic to, and we're going to see if that will do better. And if that's the case, then I've transitioned him away from something that's going to do him harm and that is really not good for him and none of us should be eating really, to a healthier option. And then as time goes on, we're going to try to get him away from that too. But taking your kids and just cold turkey cutting them off is never going to be successful. You have to have that balance of what are they in control of at the dinner table and what am I in control of. And there are differences, and I talk about it big time in my program, and it is life changing. When we started doing these kinds of things in our own family and what I've seen in those that I've helped and coached along the way, it's life changing for you and for your kids. And so I'm glad that you decided to pop in today and just kind of hear me out. Alpha Gal is, something that people don't talk much about, and I think it's definitely worth looking into. And again, it doesn't affect everybody. We've all been bit by ticks, and I don't have any problems with meat, but my youngest does. And same with my oldest, who has a lot of different things going on in his life too with the ADHD and sensory issues as to why he's picky. It really is bio-individual, meaning that one person's food is another person's poison. And you cannot have this cookie cutter framework for how you transition your kids and how you transition your entire family, because some things work for others and some things don't. And we have to have that kind of grounding realization that we have to be open to that. And we can't just be so restrictive thinking that, oh, well, I can't eat gluten, so my oldest and my husband shouldn't eat any. It's not the way it works, right? Just like now, my husband will still eat animal products. I'll still eat some. My oldest will some on occasion. Guess what? My youngest can't now. And that's just the way that it is. And so I think that what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make a school lunch kind of theme on this channel, because this is going to be the big kind of ride or die scenario, because he's not going to be able to eat the school lunch and he is not going to be able to have the snack lunches that the other kids bring. And so I'm going to have something for him every single day, rain or shine, and I'm going to have a snack for him. And I think that that's something a lot of parents with kids who have allergies, food allergies, and people who have alpha gal, like, how in the world do I get my picky eater to no longer have the go-to lunchable type meals that he would get at school, versus now he can't have any of that. And he's a picky eater. He's not that great on vegetables, so what's he going to eat? And so I think sharing that journey with you and continuing to transition him, but now diving into the other kinds of snack foods that he now is not going to be able to have because of the corn and the soybean and the wheat and the gluten. So I think it's worth it. And if it's something that you're interested in, leave a comment below, because I would love to hear from you and know if it's something that you think could be a benefit. But thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today and letting me be real and honest with you. I've been out in the garden working hard, and it is definitely something that we have to prioritize, is getting the food that we need for our kiddos so that they can live the best healthy, optimally healthy life that we can. And we want to set them up for success, because if we can give them healthy habits now, it'll last them a lifetime and hopefully limit their risk of disease and illness in the future. The rates of disease and things like obesity and diabetes, for example, in kids is skyrocketing in the United States, and we've got to put a stop to that. And I think that if we can take charge of what our kids are eating, we are going to set them up for the greatest amount of success. Again, if you're interested in my program, put all the links below, check them out, reach out to me, and I want to connect with you. Even if you don't do any of the other stuff, it is so worth it. I've got free guides and everything. I just want to help you, because we're all in this together and we need mommy support for sure. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.